Hey everyone, welcome back to another day at ConsenSys 2024. I'm Rachel, and today I'm here with Daniel Fogg, the CEO of Rootstock Labs. Hi, Daniel.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Daniel, before we get started, maybe give us a little bit of information on your background and about Rootstock Labs.
Yep, so I'm the CEO of Rootstock Labs. We were creators of the Rootstock blockchain, and we're builders of the RIF economy. We're here to grow the Rootstock ecosystem. I mean, I've been working in crypto now for over 5 years. Been engaged in the crypto ecosystem for nearly 10, and I've been building emerging technology companies for nearly 2 decades.
Wow. And what is Rootstock Labs doing?
Yeah, so very simply, Rootstock was the first Bitcoin sidechain. It was the first Bitcoin L2. The idea was originally conceived by Satoshi Nakamoto. He perceived the idea that you could use the hashing power for Bitcoin to secure a secondary network, and that was the early idea for merge mining. And then Adam Back and the team at Blockstream proposed a way to build a two-way peg between Bitcoin and a secondary network. We combined these two ideas. We forked Ethereum to create an EVM, and we launched Rootstock. White paper was originally published in late 2015, and the mainnet went live in early 2018, and we've been live for 6.5 years. It's a growing, thriving Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem. Over 132 partners and protocols live on the network, 3,000 BTC locked in a two-way peg, and another 200 million plus of native and bridge tokens on the network today.
So right now we're seeing an influx of Bitcoin layer 2s.
Yep.
So I'd like to know a little bit more about how Rootstock is different from other layer 2s that we're seeing.
Yeah, so as we were talking earlier, I mean, the way I look at this is the idea of an L2 has been ported over from Ethereum as a way to scale a network. And it's a helpful term because everyone kind of understands it. And they're like, oh, it makes sense. I understand what it means in Ethereum, and therefore I have a model to understand what it means in Bitcoin. But L2 is a very broad term in Bitcoin. It refers to any scaling solution for Bitcoin. So it encompasses everything from Turing complete EVM smart contract platforms like Rootstock, all the way through to payment channels like Lightning, and there's many other examples as well. There are a couple of sort of primary examples of Bitcoin L2s, but they all have fundamentally different architectures. Unlike maybe in Ethereum, where essentially they're all networks trying to roll up above Ethereum and increase speed and reduce cost, but still with full smart contract capability. L2s in Bitcoin means something even broader again, any scaling solution. Then within that you have subcategories, and Rootstock is very much a subcategory. We're very specifically a Bitcoin sidechain. Yeah, I could go into some detail about what that means.
Let's talk a little bit about the problem Rootstock is aiming to solve, especially now we're seeing so many Bitcoin DeFi use cases, people building on Bitcoin. So why would someone want to use Rootstock? Yeah,
so the classic blockchain trilemma remains. And it remains for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is highly decentralized, extraordinarily secure, but scalability is a problem. And so what Rootstock and other Bitcoin L2s are trying to do is solve that problem, where you can process smart contracts and reduce cost and increase speed and build an entire sort of DeFi ecosystem, anchored in some way or connected in some way, either to Bitcoin the network or Bitcoin the asset, but do it off the Bitcoin network. Ideally with a cryptographic link in some way to Bitcoin, which is what Rootstock has, but not always for some Bitcoin L2s. So yeah, it's all about scalability, really.
Why would somebody want to build on Bitcoin versus building on Ethereum?
It's a design choice. There are a number of reasons. I mean, I think the main reason is Bitcoin is the most widely adopted, most widely distributed, most widely accepted cryptocurrency that exists. I believe it's north of 50 or 100 million wallet holders today in every country on the planet. At a certain level, everyone in crypto is also a Bitcoiner, right? And so you've got all this, you've got this amazing asset, everyone holds it, but they don't do anything with it, right? It's stuffed under the digital mattress. Grayscale released some data around this recently, where 0.2% of all of the Bitcoin in circulation, that's basically in use, is at work in some way, right? It's mainly wrapped on Ethereum, or it's at work on Polygon, or it's on sidechains like Rootstock. 0.2%, which is tiny. And so what's the rest of it doing? Well, it's sat on centralized exchanges, it's being held by custodians, and it's in cold storage wallets, doing nothing. It's not exactly doing nothing, it's kind of storing value, but that value is not being leveraged in any way at all. And I think that's where a Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem that is directly connected into Bitcoin becomes really interesting. Because all of a sudden, this asset gains life and it gains utility.
Right. But there are still a lot of challenges with Bitcoin Layer 2s, Bitcoin DeFi, these ecosystems like usability, they're not user friendly. So what are these challenges and how is Rootstock aiming to combat those challenges?
Yeah, so a lot of those challenges exist with immature networks, immature ecosystems, where the tools that developers want to use, the wallets that consumers, users, and companies are familiar with, the exchanges that people want to get assets from and through and trade from and through, are not integrated. So that means the UX experience sucks, basically. Where Rootstock is in a much better position there is that we've been building this ecosystem for 6.5 years. So, like I said, over 130 partners live, some of the biggest centralized and decentralized exchanges in the world. Uniswap went live on the network a couple of months ago. So you have all of the the benefits and the kind of accepted state of the art that you see in Ethereum available on Bitcoin through Rootstock. So we've already started, a lot of those UX challenges are fundamentally about how do you get the native asset and how do you engage with the platform, and a lot of that Rootstock is already solved.
How do you see the Bitcoin Layer 2 ecosystem developing moving forward? What do you hope to see? What's next for Rootstock?
Yeah, so fundamentally, we think the emergence of the Bitcoin L2 narrative and sector is fantastic. It's brought in a lot of developers, a lot of capital. There's loads of teams building. A quick tally, you're probably looking at maybe like 30 or 40 Bitcoin L2s that have launched or have raised capital and publicly indicated their intent to launch in the last 6 to 12 months. Many of them are not live net, not even test net. They're just proposals. We're going to see a lot more of the like the main players coming live in the next 6 to 12 months. Many of them have not fulfilled their kind of their objectives yet. They're more kind of proposing what they will look like in a mature state as a Bitcoin L2. But many of them, they do not in any way, shape or form achieve any finality on the Bitcoin main chain. And an insight into this is the advent of BitVM, which offers an ability to essentially build an optimistic rollup connected to Bitcoin. No BitVM implementation has gone live today. So any proposed network claiming to be leveraging BitVM is essentially, let's put this kindly, that they're selling the future, right? And that's okay, right? But none of them are live yet. I think they will come live in the next 6 to 12 months, and that's going to be interesting. It's a challenging mechanism to leverage, but I think that some teams are going to figure out the way to do it. We've got an initiative running called BitVMX, which takes the original idea that Robin Linus and the team put together around BitVM and makes it a little bit easier to work with, a little bit more pragmatic and a bit more cost efficient. And we published our white paper on that. We expect the kind of working prototype to be ready later in the year, and then we're going to implement that by building a secondary bridge between Rootstock and Bitcoin. And we're really excited about that. It's going to be public. Any of L2 can take the code, learn from it, and hopefully build safer bridges to Bitcoin, because there's risk here as well.
Right, definitely. Well, Daniel, I'm excited for the future. I'm a Bitcoiner, so really excited to hear about this, and just thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you.
Yeah.